What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 3. Well, I actually named the channel Walk the Talk, because that's what we do. We talk, right? How's it going, Tobias? Or should I say, should I call you Tobias? What do you prefer?
Please, Tobias. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with me, man. Like my name is Hugo in Spanish, and people call me Hugo, which I hate, right? Yeah, call me Hugo.
Me, yeah. Huh? You can say Don Tobias also if you wish.
Don Tobias, yeah, that works. Yeah. That works. How's it going, man?
Yeah, great. Like enjoying my first days here in Brazil. It's a blast, basically. People are very friendly. Like most people don't wear a mask. Everything is open. Yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Okay. Yeah, and like the summer is about to begin, right?
Yeah, it's like basically in the south of the country now it's very rainy and quite cold, but the north it's still very hot. So I'm moving slowly my way up to the north. Okay. But it's a big ass country, so it's like really it takes a lot of time. It's like you go from one city to another. You can spend one full day in the bus, basically.
Big time. Yeah. Yes, you're in the biggest country in South America right now, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know what travel is like there, but like like buses and planes and stuff like that. I don't really know what it's like, but I guess you will find out.
Yeah, that's true. I found out that actually BlaBlaCar here is quite popular. I haven't used it in a very long time, but it seems to be going well here, so I give it a shot for sure.
Okay, cool. Man, so this is the topic today, right? It's like how to lead a nomadic lifestyle, or more precisely, I would say the things that we consider when we choose a city or a country to move in, right? As a digital nomad, because we're both like on the move all the time. Yeah, so I guess you can start, man, because I think I told you this offline. Like I'm not I don't take a lot of things into consideration. Like I actually, how can I put this? I play by ear most of the time. So in your case, what is your number one thing? What is the number one thing that you take into consideration?
I would say number one thing is cost of living, basically. That would be the main priority. Like I wouldn't move to Switzerland or to Norway, for instance. I mean, yeah, if you can afford it, of course, the quality of living is very high, and despite of weather and other factors, I would still not do it, because you can just get more bang for your buck basically somewhere else. And why shouldn't you do it, right? If you have the world as your oyster, you can just pick yeah, I mean, there's so many options, obviously, but I think cost for everyone is one of the biggest factors for sure.
Absolutely.
No matter in what kind of situation you are, basically.
Yeah, I would put that as my number one as well, especially like in the last 2 years, because I kind of like started going on my own, or going my own way. Not that I'm a MGTOW, but started going my own way a couple years ago, and like my budget was a bit tight. Now it's getting a little better, but for quite some time it was tight. So I was just basically moving into cheap countries. I would say that my monthly budget is like 400 euros to pay for a place, and that's because I like my own spot. Like I don't really like sharing.
Yeah.
And that's something that kind of messes with my head when I come back to Spain, because here in Spain I pay the same price. I pay $400 for a room in an apartment with 3 people, so I'm like, so I'm like, damn, like I should go back to Bulgaria, I should go back to Serbia. I keep thinking about these places where I can get an apartment for the same price, a nice apartment, right?
Yeah, your thinking really changes. I noticed that as well. It's like so quickly you get used to certain places and prices. For example, I can have a lunch in, let's say, Peru for sometimes, let's say, €1.50. Yeah, it's a big lunch with like soup, main course, and drink. And then you go to Brazil, and it's already a bit more expensive, like compared to other countries in South America. So maybe you pay like 4 euros, 4.50, and you're already thinking like, oh my God, you know, it's expensive, but actually it's not if you compare it to your home country, like to Europe, to European countries.
Yeah.
But it's, you have to shift in your head that you think like, oh, you know, and I really learned in the last years, like to really live like a minimalistic lifestyle and to really cut on unnecessary costs. Because for me, for example, if we talk about food, because we all have priorities, your priority is you want to live by yourself, which is fair enough. And for other people, they like to spend more money on things like food, going out, whatever, cinema. For me, for example, food is not really important. Like for me, it's just when I need to eat, I eat. It's like a fuel, but I'm not like a foodie. I don't need to go to like fancy places.
Yeah.
So it's just like a necessity. So my food budget, not that I really like writing a journal or something about it, but my food budget is relatively small, let's say, and it's not one of my things that I really. I mean, yeah, if I go to a country, I like if there's a good, decent food and a good variety of options, but it's not like something I really research so much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe people like listening to this, or some people might think, oh, those guys are so stingy, you know, like $4 for a meal does nothing, you know, that because I mean, in European countries, it's not like how much would a nice meal in Germany would be, right? In a restaurant, right? Or here in Spain, for example. Exactly. But like you mentioned before, like your kind of like your mentality changes a bit. Food is not that important for me. When it comes to grocery shopping, like I'm quite basic. Like I'm basically buying the same stuff every week. Like I buy veggies for salads. I buy like I really like quinoa and rice, so that's basically what I buy a lot. And chicken, fish, sometimes red meat. So that's basically my grocery shopping in a nutshell, right? But then, for example, like now that I'm here in Barcelona, like my friend opened a bar recently. So so I would go there and like I order a drink, which is like a beer, right? And it's like almost €3. And you know, after living in Bulgaria, it's like kind of stings to pay €3 for a beer, because it's like, man, I'll be paying like half of the price in Bulgaria, like 150 for a beer or something. So yeah, it's once you find a place where you can live a cheap life, you know, like it's kind of hard to get used to the expensive ones again, right?
That's true, yeah. And even in like cheap countries, you can still splurge sometimes if you want to. You know, there's like for every budget you can find certain places, and you can go grocery shopping in like a natural store. You know, you can buy all this fancy stuff, and you can spend as much money as you wish, basically. Depending on your lifestyle as well.
Yeah. So now that we kind of got like the, you know, the prices out of the way, because that would be our number one, right? What would you say is your number two? So the place is cheap. What else does this place need to have in order for you to move there?
Definitely nice weather for me also.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, people always tell me like this argument is like, oh, but you grow up in Germany, it's very cold, you should be used to. But like I think my body changed as well in the last few years, because I'm freezing all the time. Like in the evening, for example, it gets a bit chilly here. And like people here are relatively relaxed, I would say, about the cold, but for me it's like feels super cold. I don't know why, but it's just like I can't stand it anymore.
Like at some point you just like
the wind and the rain. I guess if you have it your whole life, you kind of at some point you're sick of it. And then if you spend like a year somewhere, so I think if you spend 1 year abroad in like a more tropical countries, I think you really appreciate it, and you just can't go back really. It's hard.
There's, you get to a point where you're actually chasing good weather all the time, the whole year, right? Like I mean, that's probably my plan next year. It's gonna be like, just have a 1 year summer, basically. So
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
it
just moving to
makes life
countries
also
where it's summer
easier.
all the time, like, huh?
Exactly. It makes life also easier. Like you don't need too many things. You just have to pack some shorts, some t-shirts, and yeah, it's just more simple. You can wear every day almost the same kind of outfit. And
That's the thing. That's the thing,
yeah.
because like I was considering going back to Bulgaria, but now it's not the same anymore. Like it's quite cold. And I
Yeah.
was talking to friends there, and I'm like, listen, I don't have any winter clothes because I really don't.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you can buy them there. Like, they have this like secondhand shops where like you can buy clothes and stuff. But yeah, they're missing the point, and that's the point that you're talking about. It's like, yeah, like winter clothes are like bulky,
Very, yeah.
and
Yeah.
they take up a lot of space in your suitcase. So
Exactly.
why? Like I have
Yeah.
a turtleneck sweater and I have a hoodie. That's my those
Yeah.
two pieces of clothing are my winter clothes, basically.
Yeah.
And this thing right here, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's but I mean this winter I might have to give me a coat or something, because like it's November already. I want to leave Spain. I don't want to be in Spain anymore. And
Yeah.
I'm still like in accumulation period, so I cannot spend a lot of money, which means that I'm gonna end up somewhere in the east, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Uh-huh.
I was against it to buy clothes, but at some point I was in Cusco, and basically all the cool places you want to visit, it's like has high altitude. So at some point I was just, okay, I have to buy a jacket. There's no way around it, right? And then I bought one like for 25 bucks or so. And when I went to Brazil, I just left it there, and I was like, you can give it to some kind of charity for like homeless people or whatever, and then it's fine.
Yeah.
I used it maybe 1 month. I used it, and yeah, I mean it was necessity. So
Yeah. This thing happened to me a long time ago. When I was in Mexico, I was in the south, like this state called Chiapas. And yeah, I was with my girlfriend at the time, so we went to like a city near the mountains, and we didn't know, like we went from the jungle to the mountains, and we just didn't know that it was going to be cold, so we ended up buying clothes for those 5 or 6 days. I don't remember how long it was.
yeah.
And then we ended up just giving them away, so
Exactly.
yeah, you can do that.
It was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was worth it. Like I don't want to carry it around, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess you didn't plan this. I mean, not the way, because I mean, when did you go to South America? Like you went there back in
January, like 10th of January, something around that.
All right, so it was summer when you got there.
Yeah, basically.
And then you went through like the South American winter, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
Okay, and now it's gonna be summer again. So.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I guess the winter is not as harsh. I guess you were in Colombia and Ecuador in the winter.
Yeah, like Colombia is almost all year round. It's pretty warm. Well, Ecuador is more cold for sure. They have a lot of mountains. Yeah. I guess in Brazil, yeah, like I said, the north is pretty hot, also all year round. So that's where I will spend most of my time. And then if I manage to extend my visa, I can stay here until like March, and then I will be able to go to the carnival in February.
Oh yeah.
That will be pretty sick, I guess. So.
Yeah. Yes.
Hope like
Just
that.
watch the pickpockets. Like watch out for pickpockets.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah,
that's the thing. I heard that the carnival is like, pickpocket central, kind of like Barcelona or Rome, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we got budget, we got weather. Do you have a number 3 on your list?
I wouldn't say like a number 3. Maybe some things that are not that high on the list, but kind of like sharing maybe the third place would be something like transportation, people, mentality, culture, yeah, something like that. Maybe religion. I'm not so religious, but maybe certain religious countries, they don't fit you so well. Depends also on the person.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like really that important for me.
Okay.
Besides that, I would think, oh yeah, maybe like a good internet connection.
Absolutely.
But that's very dependent also on the cities. Like I can't say like the whole country, the quality is like that. It really depends on the city as well.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on something important, I think, because especially when it comes to mentality, I think that would be my number 3. And it's not that the places that I lived in recently are very open-minded, right? Like you were in Bulgaria, it's not like the most open-minded country per se, but I mean, it's still a European society, which is fine for me, like, because for example, like now that I'm here, one of my options for November was Morocco, right? And the reason why I just crossed it off the list, like now I'm not going to Morocco, is just I don't really know how easy or how difficult it's going to be, like the dating part, you know what I mean? Because we're single, right? And like, we're traveling, so we're using Tinder and whatnot. In Europe, that's fairly easy. In South America, it must be the same. Like, like there isn't a lot of like, trouble, right? But then in Morocco, I wonder, man, like, like the local girls, I'm sure they're out dating. I don't know how open they are to dating foreigners. That's the first one. Yeah. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to Morocco. What I am saying is I would have to move to a big city where I also have like like a pool of foreign girls that I can go out with, since it's a Muslim country and stuff. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So that might happen in quite a few countries, especially the Muslim ones.
Yeah, I would say that for sure you will meet some travelers there. Maybe not so many expats really living there, but I would say that probably like now everywhere is getting more open-minded, even in these kind of countries. Of course, you can still find this like very like conservative people, very religious people, but I'm 100% sure there's also some kind of like secret society where they have a lot of parties, drinking, very casual and stuff like that. It's just like everyone wants to have fun basically in their life, though.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe it's a little bit more tricky. It's like you cannot really go full on direct there. But yeah, I think if you have a good like body language and be like a confident guy, then you'll do well there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it really depends on, like, because like I said, I've never been in South America, but I think it must be like similar to Mexico, similar-ish, right? Because Mexico is quite a conservative country. And actually the girls might be open-minded. They're just not going to be that open to you in public, right?
Yes.
Because they got a lot to lose. True. Like, like they're going to be criticized and they're going to be labeled as bitches, and stuff like that, right? But still, like what happens in Mexico is, especially if you're not from Mexico, I noticed that the society is a bit more forgiving, if that's a good word, because this guy is not from here, so they give you some leeway, some room to kind of like do things that wouldn't be right for a local person.
That's true.
I don't think that's the case in places like, like, I guess Morocco is pretty laid back. If you go to, like to the, what's the name of this country where Dubai is? The United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
If you go to these countries or, like, or Kuwait or these countries, I don't think you get that much leeway,
Yeah.
With the local people. Like there's a secret society for sure. And like, I'm sure like alcohol is forbidden in these places, but there's always a place to drink anyway, right?
For sure.
Yeah. But then, like, because I know myself, the fact that I have to find this holes in the wall, right? makes me a bit like, oh, come on, you know, because I'm gonna spend time there. Like when I say time, I mean like at least 1 month. Because I want to live in the country. I don't want to go there as a tourist. If I just want to go and visit, I'll go for a week. Right. And a month is a long time. And like I want to meet girls. I want to go out, you know, like I want to do
of course.
Yeah.
I don't know how the situation there is with alcohol actually, but I think that Morocco is probably like the most open-minded country in Africa, I would guess.
It is.
Morocco and Tunisia, because they're pretty close to Europe also, and I wouldn't think that it's much of a problem there. It's just different. Like I remember when I was in Malaysia, for example, and I heard stories that if foreigners, for example, they have a Malaysian girlfriend, and they would kiss in public or even hold hands, they can get a fine by the police and stuff like that. And it's also a problem, like for example, staying in the same hotel or like taking someone to your hotel, all this kind of stuff.
You need to be married or something like that, right? Yeah.
I don't expect to be like that radical in Morocco at all. No, I don't think so.
Even if it is, like, I'm sure there are ways around it. I'm sure, right? Like, you know, like you can go to the hotel and maybe pay the receptionist, I don't know, like 20 euros, and then they're just gonna overlook the fact that you're not married, whatever, right? Like if this case exists. So yeah, it's I know also that in Morocco it's easier to find alcohol. It's not something that I am interested in particularly, but it's easier, I heard. Yeah, I guess my only concern would be that, right? How not even the allowances, but like how wide are the options, you know, like when it comes to dating, like are there a lot of options, you know, like I wonder what it's like to open Tinder on Morocco. Like how many swipes can you do before running out of like girls to match with? You know what I'm saying? Because especially like the local
to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if I go, I'll let you know. I'm gonna try that, but
I would expect there are not too many, because it's like Tinder has a bad image, you know, like kind of just for hookups, even though some girls pretend to be like for friends and language exchange. But I think I would expect maybe there they have more like real dating websites, you know, like a little bit more serious, proper websites where you have to make a profile, maybe pay something, and something like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, like I said, like the local girls there, I'm sure they got a lot to lose if they're just like quote unquote advertising themselves on Tinder, right?
Sure.
And I've seen this in Spain, because like the Moroccan community or like the Muslim community in this country is quite big. So sometimes I'm swiping, you know, and you know, I just come across a profile of a Muslim girl, and they don't show their face. You know, like I mean, some of them do because they live here, but like the ones that are more conservative, they don't show their face. You know, they're just actually show like a what I don't know what to call it, like veil something. Yeah, so you do not see their faces, basically, right?
Yeah.
And it's like for me that's a deal breaker, because you know, like
of course
I got to see the face, right? So yeah, that would be my number 3. Huh?
At least the face.
At least the face, you know, that would be nice, right? So that would be my number 3, you know, like I would say dating pool options. That would be my number 3 if we word it correctly.
Yeah, but it's a good point for sure. I mean, that's also quite important, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to have a good time. It's not like all about spending time in the nature and I don't know, working. Or it's like when you're really working, then you spend half of the day basically at home at your laptop, and then if you go out, you want to have a good time. So
absolutely,
obviously you want the people to be like open-minded and fun.
Yes.
Sometimes they can be very sensitive. Like I met some people from Arabic countries like Azerbaijan, for example, and they have been very uptight. Like they don't take a joke. They very sensitive, and it's a bit difficult really with them. Like
it can be, right? Like, yes,
that's something I particularly are into.
Yeah, Yes. Also, the fact that I have, like visible tattoos in certain societies, even back home, like, like tattoos are like getting more accepted every day, but
Okay.
there's still people back home who think that you're a criminal because you have tattoos, or like not
I see.
necessarily a criminal, but like you've been in jail. Basically, that's what they associate it with, right? So yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. Like if you go to these countries, I think probably not in Morocco, but in other Muslim countries, I would have to wear like long sleeve all the time.
Could be the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
you should be in Sao Paulo. Like here, the people have so many tattoos here.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
very obvious.
they're
Even
getting they're getting accepted every day, more and more, right?
yeah. And even I see many guys like face tattoos. Like there was once like a machine gun on his cheek. That was pretty insane.
What the hell?
Yeah. I wonder like if this guy applies for a job like in an office, like what the people would say to him.
I guess it
he must
depends
be
on the
like
job.
I guess he must be like a barber or something. Then it's okay.
Yeah, gun dealer. Like if you have a machine gun on your face, that you might get the job.
Kelly. Yeah, I agree that usually in Europe it's quite fine, no matter where you are. I mean, here it's more common to use Uber, I guess. In Europe, I don't really use taxi that much. But in South America, you use a lot of Ubers, and it's quite cheap, and yeah, it's good. It's good to have motorbike also, but I would say like, yeah, you don't really want to mess with the buses because it's a little bit complicated and pickpockets as well, So I would say like as a foreigner, maybe you spend a little bit more on the taxis, but then be safe and yeah, it's efficient.
Better be safe than sorry, you know what they say, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it will be more expensive in the end if you lose your phone and your wallet. So.
Oh yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we can wrap it up here. Yeah, this was a quick one. If anybody wants to start a nomadic lifestyle, these are the three things that we consider. You can basically do your own list. If you guys are here to listen to English, you're welcome to write questions in the comments. What did he say at minute X, or what did he say at minute Y? I'm happy to answer the questions for you. Give you guys vocabulary the way Tobias says something or the way I say something, right? And also, Tobias, what you said 2 weeks ago was that people are welcome to suggest topics, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like, feel free to, put something in the comments that might be of interest for you.
Sounds good.
We'll be happy to discuss that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess for you, it's like the day is just like starting, right?
Yeah, now it's like 1 p.m. or so, and yeah, gonna head out, have a walk, just finish lunch before I jumped on a call.
Nice.
And yeah, today is a sunny day, so I will enjoy it outside.
All right. Yeah, so I'll let you go about your day. Mine is about to finish, like it's 6 o'clock already. So, but I'll see you. I'll see you next week with a new topic. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right, man.
Take care.
Talk soon. You too. Bye.